Hey everyone, just want to do a video. I want to do more conversation videos, kind of conversation with myself, but more conversation videos. And so like the first one just come to mind. I've just been chatting to Geeky Hijinks Reviews on YouTube, another YouTuber. Go check out his channel, great channel, really professionally made, just great videos of a high quality. So go and check out his stuff. We've just been chatting, commenting with him in one of my other videos. And basically we were talking about DC movies and how they, like when Batman vs Superman came out, it was very much just negative reviews of it. Fair enough, if people don't like it, I get that. But people were very critical at that time when DC films were coming out because people just saw it as a competitor to Marvel, trying to be a Marvel, clone. But I never saw it as that. I saw DC trying to do their own thing. I mean, there was a point where DC were maybe trying to be a bit Marvel-ish with their ways, but they very, very quickly changed that. And like they went from doing their own sort of grittier cinematic universe, then kind of be a bit Marvelish. And then they sort of, you can just tell they sort of went with Aquaman. Okay, let's just do what we want. Let's do our own thing. And so you've had Aquaman, you've had over-the-top superhero film. We've had Shazam, which is a more family-orientated, kind of light-hearted comedy. We've had Birds of Prey, which is a sort of a grittier Suicide Squad. We've had Joker, which is an incredible, serious film. And so going forward, I kind of think to myself, what do I want from DC? What kind of stuff do I want to see? I mean, we've had the Justice League recently come out with the Snyder Cut. People now saying, is the Snyderverse back on? Is Zack Snyder going to be able to do the films he wanted to do originally? Is he going to be hired back on? I hope so. I want to see that story and that continuity and that universe he sort of created carry on. But when it comes to talking about the universe of stuff, we know about the Marvel universe. We've seen it for years, the cinematic universe. We've seen other film franchises try and copy the whole universe thing. And my view for DC, what I want to see from DC, if I was in charge, what I would want to see, I want to see them not go for a universe thing. Go and do separate individual films for each one. And what I mean by that is I'd love to see a lot more films where they say they have 3 different Batman, they have three different Jokers. We don't have to have one. Why can't we have Jared Leto's gangster Joker? Why can't we have Joaquin Phoenix's serious, more gritty, more grounded, more realistic Joker? A Joker that's like a horror film. I know the Joker film with Joaquin Phoenix was kind of, you could say was not horror, but had that kind of little tinge to it. Why could we have a horror Batman film? Why can't we have an action Batman? Why can't we have a detective Batman? Why can't we have a younger Batman? I just want to see more films individual. And I think your scale and your scope and your opportunities there for the film is limitless. And I don't mean have one Batman and they do all those films. I mean, have different actors. Have different films where they're their own little universe, their own individual films. Now, if you read graphic novels like I do occasionally, some of them are linked to a wider universe, but a lot of them can often be one-shots. In other words, just one story, fully contained, and that's what happens in the story. I think DC released a little while ago something called Black Label, which means that those, I believe it's those DC stories you're reading are outside of any universe. They're very isolated. So, for example, you could be reading it and Batman could die. You could read it and Robin could die, and it's one story. Now, if you put that into films, you've got magic there. You've got a pot of gold waiting. I think that could really bring a lot of people in. The other thing I want to see from DC going forward is, if you compare the DC to Marvel, DC have always tended to be comics that are much darker, much grittier, much more realistic in their ways. And I just think, put that on screen. Make the films 15 and 18 certificate rated films. I know the studio might think we can't do that. It's going to reduce the amount of box office we get. Kids are going to want to see it. But think about it as a kid. Imagine the Batman films 15s or 18s and they get to that age they can finally go to cinema and see these films. The audience is always going to be there, just waiting to get to the right age. And I think if the studios are concerned about the limited amount of numbers of box office by making it a 15 or 18 certificate film, that's my point about the universe. If that film is an 18 Batman certificate film, cool. At the same time, the kids can still go and see the action Batman over here on the left-hand side. On the right, you've got the horror stuff. In the middle, you've got the detective in-between stuff that's 15. You know what I mean? You can have a real variety of different content. And I think it also frees up the writers' imaginations a hell of a lot more as well. Because now the writers can write whatever they want. If they want to write a film where Batman dies, they can do that. if they haven't got to worry about continuity, they haven't got to worry about the wider universe of things. How does it link to this character? What happened to that character? What happened to this event? They can just do whatever they want. And I think you could then have some really original stories on the screen. So often with superhero films, we're told they're cliche. Maybe this would help unlock that from being those shackles of being cliche superhero films. You know, I'm not saying, you know, don't make films that link one to the other. I still want to see that. I still want to see like what Zack Snyder did. Man of Steel links to Batman vs Superman, links to Justice League. I still want that, but I also think we should then still at the same time have maybe a different Justice League film, have another Batman film who's different Batman to Ben Affleck. So still have the continuity films, but also have one-shot films as well. So yeah, that's kind of the video really. Just wanted to have a bit more of a discussion and conversation about it and put my thoughts out there. I love hearing your guys' comments below, so do feel free to do that. And please give it a thumbs up. I appreciate it a lot for helping me know what you guys like watching. So thanks again. Hopefully we can do some more of these sort of conversation videos in the future. And I'll see you again in the next one.